Disclaimer, I am not representing any of the companies that I'll be talking about today, DriveThruRPG, Roll20, or Ninth Level Games. This is all my personal opinion and has no official word from any of those places. Let's get into the controversy. Rebel Scum Second Edition was put on DriveThruRPG and then taken down for political messaging, specifically what we were told from a reply, and I'll have all the articles down below. Reply from DriveThruRPG was that there was a problem in the foreword where it was too overtly targeting real-world politics and needed to be taken down or removed for it to be posted on their website. Ninth Level Games refused, and thus the game is now only available on Ninth Level Games' its website, and I believe their itch.io account. Now, I reached out to them for this review copy specifically because I feel as though this game shouldn't be censored for what it's trying to state. It is definitely going for a anti-capitalist, anti-fascist political leaning, and there are a lot of games on DriveThruRPG that have anti-fascist messaging. It's just this game talks about it specifically in reference to the post-pandemic world, as well as a bunch of real-world issues that are currently still happening, that if you want to play this game, you can get some catharsis out of it. One of the lines in it specifically calls out, "I have called the Republic with a K, so that we can say I punched the Republican in the face." And that line is in the safety rules for the game, which is kind of crazy. But I do find that if you want to do what this game says and punch some space Nazis in their greedy, stupid, racist, sexist, transphobic, homophobic, ableist faces, well then, welcome aboard. I like that line pretty much. So I do lean more left in my politics. I will say that I am glad to be covering this game, and I hope it gets people more aware of what's going on in the world, as well as being able to express their feelings on this subject. That being said, if you feel as though you want to do some good in the world and the catharsis of playing a role-playing game isn't constructive enough, highly recommend checking out local activist groups that you have. Anything for community outreach can really help a community, and stuff that's at a local level is a lot better than stuff at a higher state or federal level at this moment. I remember being a kid and doing a lot of community outreach, refurbishing old computers. If that's something that's going on in your neighborhood or your town, I highly recommend checking it out. We do stuff like getting kids in underfunded schools better computers to help with homework and things like that. It was very rewarding, and maybe I should go back and do that. Any case, let's go on and talk about Rebel Scum from a mechanics standpoint. You have reached a checkpoint in which I need to plug Trinity Continuum Bloody Boroughs, which is a book I personally wrote with a bunch of other lovely game designers and writers. It's the biggest community content thing I've ever put out, and I want to thank you all for helping make it happen. Without this channel, I wouldn't have been able to talk to Travis Legg, who works for Onyx Path Publishing, and I wouldn't have had this opportunity. Thank you so much. Bloody Boroughs is currently now on print on demand, so you can get an actual physical copy of this book. I'm excited to have my own physical copy delivered to me, whatever that is. But I am so excited, and I'm so proud that I finally have gotten my game design degree to be useful for something. Anyway, back to the video. Now, it uses the Polymorph System, which is used by games like it's Sentai Insensibility, which is a Super Sentai / Power Rangers parody in Regency era England. And then there's Kobolds Ate My Baby, which is also using the same system, which is a parody of D&D. Highly recommend checking those games out if you can. This game itself is sort of an independent game, as far as I can tell. There are only like 3 names in the credits for creating it. Maybe more people play tested it, I'm not sure, but the game itself is only 80 pages, including stuff like the cover and artwork and things of that nature. The art itself is using Hero Forge 3D models, I think. They, or at the very least, they look like it, and they do have a nice aesthetic of looking like the character sheets look like they are Star Wars action figures, because this game is a sci-fi RPG about rebels going up against a totalitarian government. To give a little bit of an overview of the setting, there was once a great democracy that was built by 2 opposing factions, and peace prevailed for a bit. There was a group known as the Amurai, which are basically, the word is samurai, but without the S, who have magic space powers. And at one point, this guy, who's an Amurai, took power and started like getting all these various planets into the fold under his watch, and he did a coup and destroyed a lot of the history of the world, or the galaxy, or solar system. The polymorph mechanic itself uses d4s, d6s, d8s, and d10s. The system itself, depending on your role that you choose, is the die type you use. Experts are intellectuals, they're smart, capable, and stuff like that, but they're bad at combat, and they use the d4. And you'll notice when you look at the character sheet that for like knowledge rolls, you need a 2 or 3 to succeed, but if you're doing combat and might rolls, you need stuff like 6s or 8s and things of that nature. So it's a lot more difficult for the experts to do that. I'll have an image up here that'll show you like a character sheet just as an example. Just know that, oh yeah, if you're playing an expert, there's some roles that you're not going to be able to do. In any case, how the roles work are each of the skills. So you have like your sort of like a knowledge skill or a fighting skill. Each of those skills have specific die results that count as successes. As I said before, with your knowledge checks, you need a 2 or a 3 to pass. So a 1 or a 4 or higher will be a failure. So if you're rolling a d8 on it and you get an 8, that's still a failure. This is because of the way the system works. There are things called saves. So instead of having NPC stat blocks for attacking you, instead you have your player do a save. One of the examples is a blaster save, which is to avoid blaster fire, and your character will basically roll that skill associated with that save in order to avoid taking damage. Now, when you do take damage, it increases the danger level of the scene. So danger level is essentially like, as it gets higher, it's more likely that your character is going to be knocked out or taken out in a scene. And if you are in a climactic battle with like a boss character, or like doing a very important task that is considered the climax of the story, your character is at risk of dying. The way that it describes it in the game is that danger goes from being just dangerous to being deadly. And so when you make a danger roll, you need to either meet or beat the danger level. If you roll a die higher than the danger level, your character is fine. If you roll it at the danger level, you do a clutch move, which removes all the danger from it, sets it back down to 0, and your character is fine still. But if you roll under the danger level, so say you have a danger level of 6 and you are an expert who only has a d4, you roll that die, you're gonna die, basically. Well, you're gonna be taken out, and if it's a climactic battle, your character dies. the roles that they have expert, which is smart, which uses a D4. Vanguard is a jack of all trades type of character who uses a D6. You have your fighters who use D8s, and then you have your tank who is good at surviving and taking hits, who use D10s. Now, that's basically the roles of the game. You also have character classes. These are things like the Ronin, the Revolutionary, the Robot, the Renegade, and the Rogue. They each have different skills and character sheets associated with them. It doesn't seem like there's much of a difference, except they do have specific benefits for them, such as a revolutionary, you fight for change. You can burn a star to succeed whenever the result changes the status quo. Stars are a resource that players get by punching Nazis or by doing other things that are essentially like progressing the plot for the rebels, like blowing up a tank or graffitiing a poster of the main villain, which is Euron Killstar, or giving water to people who are in need of it or in a in a line to vote. That's pretty much it. Like, the game is small, it's only 80 pages. I could see myself running it as a one-shot or a short campaign because it does have this narrative structure associated with it. It does very much mirror the Star Wars movie series as far as like the structure goes. I think part of it is like, oh yeah, you should do like a 3-act structure with as a trilogy in a way. And I could see myself doing that, where it's a short series of games. You also have, as far as characters go, edges, which allow you to do extra stuff and have advantage on certain roles. But I'm not going to go into that. If you're interested at all in this game, I highly recommend checking it out. You can check out the links down below. I'm not getting, this is not sponsored. This is not an affiliate link. Please check it out. Support people who are spreading a good message. If you want to run Rebel Scum, you could run it as is from the book, which is sort of a setting that is very much a what if you took Star Wars but put in the current day politics into it. That being said, I could definitely see people thinking that the story of Rebel Scum is very surface level, like very surface level satire, which is a reasonable thing to say when your character has the name Killstar. Your villain has the name Killstar, and you have death troopers or kill troopers and things of that nature. Over troopers, kill troopers, things of that nature. So if you wanted to like change it up a bit, I say go right ahead. The important part of the game is the anti-fascist messaging, and you're playing as rebels who are against the fascists, of course. So yeah, check it out. If I were to run this, I would probably just run it as like one to three adventures with the like similar structure to a Star Wars movie. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good one.